conversation with David Lammy, asking what is Labour's vision for global Britain? I'm Anoosh Chakelian, Britain editor of the New Statesman, and first of all I want to thank the UK in a changing Europe for making this event possible. Before we start, I'll just explain a little bit how it will work. You can submit questions, which we'll have at the end of the discussion, on Slido, which is you can get to on your phone by going to sli.do and using the event code #NSLabour1. But we'll also have a roving mic as well if you've got questions, and I'll be chairing those questions. But now I will hand over to my panel, David Lammy, Labour MP for Tottenham. He's been
preoccupation. I think I'm pretty well positioned to do that.
Thank you. Another question? You over there on the end.
Oh, hi David, my name's Eden. I'm a Labour councillor in Harrow and I also work for VSO Voluntary Service overseas. So just thinking...
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. I've written about what I've called an encounter culture before. This is where I'm very concerned that young people from very different backgrounds meet one another. And I'm particularly concerned that if you're young and you're growing up in parts of Liverpool or parts of Tottenham and you don't go to university, where do you meet other young people with different backgrounds and different experiences? So look, let's assume that the protocol bill is out the way, either because Liz Truss and James Cleverly have come to their senses, or because we have come to power in a couple of years' time, then I think we can sit down with our European partners and discuss how young people are able to have a better degree of mobility for short periods, obviously, within the rules that, of course, recognising that the European Union have. That I think that's in all of our interests, all of our cultural interests. I have been traditionally a big believer in a citizen service and citizenship. So the question right on the money is something that I would seek to work quite hard.
Thank you. Another question. Your hand shot up there.
Hi, Anand Menon. I'm a reporter for the Asahi Shimbun, which is a Japanese newspaper. In reference to the Pacific, which you've already talked about a little bit, there was some debate at last year's conference about AUKUS and the UK's role with the Australian-American alliance. What is sort of Labour's policy on AUKUS at this point? Is it still committed to that and to broader relations with Japan and other defence partners in the Pacific, specifically in reference to Taiwan?
100%. 100%. I was in Australia. I think I was the first Western politician to visit Australia after the election earlier on in the year. And New Zealand. I hope to get to Japan. Of course, we've seen increased military activity in relation to Taiwan. We remain 100% committed to all this.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to... Yeah, I think you...
Hi, Sam Weeks from 2050 Cloud. We're an environmental organisation. You were talking about net zero and the environment. How are we actually going to use that for, say, trade deals or on the international stage? What concrete things are you going to ask for from partners to make sure that we are actually making progress and we're not just asking people to do stuff? It doesn't have to be stick, carrot offering better trade deals for better environmental. How, as you said, the aid budget would put more towards that. What concrete things would you do?
I'm not Nick Thomas Simmons, which is charged with negotiating our trade deals. But what I can say is we are not in the sort of neoliberal period of the 1990s. This party, this movement, is committed to standards. Standards on work, standards on our environment, and standards in our obligations to the developing world. And I totally recognise that one of the things that happened in this age of globalisation that we've all lived through is that diminution of standards for working people in parts of the northwest where we are, standards for poorer people in developing countries, and the way that we've left the planet has fallen short. And part of what you'd expect from a Labour government in this next period is to reassert what those standards are. We've seen the Democrats strike that tone, actually, in the United States. That's a movement that is in the progressive family. This is not the old globalization. It simply cannot be that. It has to be something new, and Nick Thomas-Symonds is seized with that agenda.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid that is all the questions we have time for, because I think David's got to head off for a media round. Is that right? Never stops. So thank you everyone for coming, and thanks so much for our speakers, David Lammy.